3, 2, 1. We're live.
Are we? How's everybody doing today? Today is the Friday the 2nd of March 2018, and this is a best practice live stream and I'm going to go through some technical analysis on what's happening with ISO 45001, and then I can talk about ISO 9001 and also answer your questions. So I'll also cover a bit on 14001 and all things ISO standards. So have you hit the go live button? Yep, you're all good. You're happy? Okay, how are we going with just let a couple of people come online? Okay, we've got 3 waiting. Hello, 3. Hello, we've got a few people coming online. If you have got comments, so apologise for being late. Thanks for waiting. I've just been, we've got our operations team here. So we are live here at the Best Practice Head Office. We've got our whole operations team, all the head office sitting people just tucked out of view. Actually, I'll just quickly show you. Jack's going to pick up the camera, and you can see over there, just outside our studio, that's our COO, live right now, giving our guys their monthly update and monthly mentoring. So that's like the live team training. It's not like a formal training course. We just bring everybody in off the road. They're running a Google Hangout, and they've got all of the interstate and international operations team members all there together. So it's a live to and fro, and that's going to run for a couple of hours today. So I just did a quick introduction, just talking to those guys about what's going on. So yep, it's all live, and I apologise for being late. So in the comments box, and that's going to be on this side of the screen up here, you've got a comments section if you're watching live on YouTube and you're not on the full screen mode. And so you can post comments up there and questions, and Jack has given me a dashboard. So yeah, just let me know if you're watching live and say hello. So somewhere around about here, I think, if I'm pointing at the right place on the screen, there's a place there to enter comments and answer questions. So that's what these VIP sessions are for. There for you to hit me with your questions, and I'll do some technical analysis on what's going on with the standards and what's in the standards. And if you've got a specific challenge or barrier with your management system or your organisation, then hit me with those questions, and I'll do my best to answer them from my perspective. And then also, and I will carry them through. If I can't answer your question, I'll come back to you. So I'll go and do some research and dig deeper into your question. So that's what it's for. Okay, so I'll go through the planned content I've got for you guys today, and then I'll answer questions as they come up. So don't forget, a good way to direct message me outside of these live streams on a Friday is via the message function on LinkedIn. You can send me a direct message on LinkedIn. And for those of you that haven't got a connection to me on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn email address, if you need an email address to send me a message on LinkedIn, the email address that I use just specifically for that login is really easy. It's kobe@simat.com.au. So we won't write that down anywhere because I don't want to get totally spammed by people that just look for email addresses to spam everyone. So kobe@simat.com.au, and you can enter that email address and send me an invite request if I'm not already somewhere in your network. So search for me on LinkedIn, hit connect, and if you need that email address, it's kobe@simat.com.au, and so it's really easy to remember and really easy for you guys to enter that. Okay, let's get into some stuff regarding the standards. So the information that we've currently got around ISO 45001 comes from a number of places. So we have a link to the Australian Commonwealth Government, and we have a license or an accreditation through an organisation called JASANS, which is the Joint Accreditation System of Australia and New Zealand. They're our auditors. They were here 3 weeks ago conducting an audit of our policies and procedures and our system to verify that we follow planned arrangements. So it was an external audit. During that audit, we discussed what was happening with the accreditation and rollout of ISO 45001. At this stage, everything's in their world is in draft, and they typically don't move as fast as they should. And I apologise for that criticism, but there's been a draft standard for a long time, and then there's also ISO standards already in place, and the technical words in the standard really don't affect how the accreditation program can run. However, they're not ready, so they're not ready to roll out the accreditation. So what that means for us here at Best Practice is when the final standard drops, and it's looking like it's going to drop on the 15th of March, it'll be published on the 15th of March. On the 15th of March, you'll be able to go to the ISO.org store and purchase a copy of the standard. We'll have to do that, so we will be doing that. So on the 15th of March, I'll be watching very closely for that product to be released in that store. Then I'll go to ISO and I'll purchase it. There's not going to be a major change to the standard or any major changes to the standard between now and then. So if you wanted to go today and purchase a copy of the DIS or Draft International Standard 45001, you could do that, and you could be very, very confident that you could use that as the basis of any further work or investigation that you would like to do into the standard and what you would need to do to maybe upgrade your system. Now, a very good colleague of mine made some really important statements through the week that are on our YouTube channel. If you go and look for, if you go to our YouTube channel and look at recent videos, if you want to do that while I'm talking, open another screen or just open another window in your browser and just click back onto our YouTube channel and search through the videos. So you search our YouTube, search for our channel, click on our channel, and then filter the videos by newest to the top. And you'll see, if you could just show them Andrew Barrett's video, please, Jack. Andrew Barrett has just given you some really good pointers to what to focus on. And he's looking at the performance objectives or the safety outcomes. So if you just have a look at success factors, the third video there. So that particular video, Andrew Barrett talks about success factors. Now, I know with 95% confidence that the wording of the success factors, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, I think it is, K, the wording of the success factors, and I said I would do some technical analysis on ISO 45001. This is the first piece. Jump onto ISO 45001, the draft standard, and look at the success factors. That's the why or the grounding of your whole safety management system. And if you want my top tips and advice and guidance and where I believe you should prioritize, I believe you should prioritize on like a mini gap analysis or mini self-assessment of you and your organization against those success factors, and give yourself a rating out of 3. Or high, medium, low, you know, or successful or not successful. But 1, 2, 3. 3 being high and a 1 being low against each success factor. Now the cumulative score is not so important. It's about where should we focus our attention. And anything that gets a 1 is obviously somewhere that you want to focus your attention versus anything that's a 2 or a 3. So, you know, start with the low-hanging fruit first. So success factors in ISO 45001 at the beginning of the standard. The rest is really just going to be mechanically how you claim to have addressed the standard. And if you've had a OHSAS 18001 or an Australian Standard 4801 safety management system in place, then you're not going to have any issues moving into the new version of the standard. Or excuse me, sorry. So what I'd like you to be considering is just looking at those success factors. I apologise, I'm just waiting for a copy of the standard to be printed for me and brought in, and I'll tell you exactly the page it's on. So we're going to be focusing ourselves on the success factors. That's what we're going to be communicating. That's what we're seeing is the most important part of the standard. And we're going to be working with people like Andrew Barrett, who's an amazing podcaster. If you haven't had a look at if you're someone who likes podcasts, have a look at the Safety on Tap podcast. I'll just get Jack to bring that up now for you. So Safety on Tap podcast. If you're an iPhone user, just go to the podcast app and then have a look at that. But you can listen online. So there's the Safety on Tap podcast. And that's absolutely fantastic. There's some great interviews taking place there on that particular podcast. And Andrew Barrett's is the center of the universe over there. He's the interviewer and the guy that runs Safety on Tap. So that's all about from a safety perspective. I'm doing my best to influence Andrew to add some other elements, because a lot of the skills that he teaches and talks about and mentors people on over on the Safety on Tap podcast, he helps you. They're very generic leadership principles that will apply in quality, environment, safety, financial, all of the aspects of risk management in your organization. So I think he's a very inspiring guy. He's one of my good friends. It's not a commercial shout out. He's just someone that we can collaborate with. And I really value the work he does. And every time I sit with him, it has an impact on me and makes me a better leader in this organization. Okay. We're just waiting for a copy of the latest edition of the draft standard to be printed and brought in. So when that comes in, I'll go through a couple of key areas of it. Not a big difference between the 4801 AS 4801 standard, which has been around since 2001, and 45001. I've said this before, and I'll say it again if you haven't heard it. All of the ISO standards now follow a set format. And it follows like a plan, do, check, act in terms of the categories. And so, cool, it's on its way. And so whether it's quality, safety, environment, information security, they all follow that same format. And so you could, in theory, use ISO 9001, 2015, and the risk-based thinking, and you could bring that through and thread that through your safety management system. So it's never been easier than now to have an integrated management system. Okay, are there any questions? There's a few. Okay, so recent questions, just in the last sort of week or so, or 2 weeks, what have we got at the top there? What have we got right at the top? We're just currently showing you, are we showing this? We'll just show you the inbox that YouTube gives us where we do we respond to questions. So if you've ever got a question, if you've watched one of our videos on the YouTube channel and you've ever got a question or a comment, YouTube serves us with this inbox where it gets all of the comments and all of the questions from all of the videos and puts them in one place. And then we go through them once a week and we answer those questions. I do find that I spend a lot of time answering a specific question, but then I think, hang on a minute, or you guys might want to hear this. So let's have a quick look. If you can just show me those, Jack, and I will have a look at them. Okay, what do we got there? Thanks for a great video. We're a small manufacturing company where our product lines are split between private labeled products according to the industrial partner's design and our product line. What might make us unique is that we're a very small 3 people in admin, 10 people in manufacturing. Our admin is comprised of CEO, handles finance and accounting, our finance manager, suppliers and operations manager. Any suggestions on a good process flow when many hats are worn by only a few people? Yes, I've got a great suggestion. Keep it simple. You are simple. You're a good, efficient, small organisation. Dunn is the person that's posted that comment. But for any of you guys, that question's talking about manufacturing, and they've got 2 channels, if you like. They've got a generic channel, which is their brand, and then they make products for other brands and put different labels. So there are potentially different product quality specifications as you go through that, depending on the product that you're making. That's fine. Just keep focusing on delivering an amazing service at each stage of your process and meeting the specifications of your internal or external customer at each of those points. And if you're struggling to meet the specifications, start looking at how you can improve your process so that you can meet the specifications, and then it doesn't matter what label goes on the product. So there's nothing wrong with keeping it the same in terms of the same generic process, and you're just inserting a different product or customer specification at the top. Keeps it simple, gives everybody in a small operation a bit of guidance on what happens, but it keeps simple. So focus on the product specification and what you're making and what your customer's expectation is in terms of not just the quality of the product, because they might not notice half the time, but more importantly on the time and some of the other sort of implied promises, you know, in terms of is it, if it's a food product, is it fresh, is it tasty, all those sorts of things, and you know, does it meet the intent of what your brand's trying to deliver. So keep it simple. Keep it simple. What would be the simplest version of something that you're developing? And a really good question that I ask a lot, and I ask myself when I'm running this business, how could I make this more simple? And we use that as a filter. When I'm in a meeting and I'm coordinating people that are all frustrated and it's all getting a bit heated, I'll just throw the question and I'll say, how could we make this more simple? And so simple equals easy. It might be a lot of work to make something simple. Like videos are quite simple and they're a good way to communicate with you, but it's hard work for us to produce videos. I could just sit behind a keyboard and punch out words, but that wouldn't have all of the elements of inspiring, exciting, you know, all the non-verbal body language that comes with videos is fantastic. Eye contact. So this is a really great way to communicate, and a video could be a great way to capture a procedure, because I can make eye contact and the person can learn from, you know, can subconsciously receive all the body language that's part of that. So don't be scared to produce videos with iPhones or little webcams or screen recording for how to do things, little how-to tips and tricks, because a management system is meant to be how-to tips and tricks in order to get a consistent, stable, sustainable outcome from a process. Okay, guess what I've got? Hot off the press, just to check it's up to date. The most current version of the draft of ISO 45001. Are there any questions or comments in the live stream? Hello Nick, how are you? You're very handsome. I will see you soon. Can you tell viewers about the overlap between safety, quality, environment? Yes, I can. So Nick Fagan has just posted a comment. He looks after our business coaching team, which is Next Practice. And so they facilitate workshops where they are taking a whole bunch of content that we'd like to educate you on, and skills, the skills that we have. So the skills we have in how we run this business, and he teaches those skills. So it's all about empowering you guys to be able to, you know, to be able to look after yourselves and run your business. We support you and guide you through that process, but it's coaching on leadership and management skills with an overarching focus on management systems. So that's Next Practice. Nick asked me to just quickly talk about the overlap between safety, quality, environment. I can do that. I can do some technical analysis and cover that overlap question. So Annex SL is a template. So ISO developed a template for management standards, and they said this is the template for the standard, follow this template and order the standard in this way. And a lot of work went into what that template should look like. So it wasn't just one person sitting at a desk saying this is what I think the template should look like. They looked at the successful standards, or the most successful ISO standards you know, over the last 10 to 15 years, and they said what's a great structure. That broadly follows ISO 14001, which was the first international management standard. AEST 4801, the safety standard that we have here in Australia, copied the structure of 14001, and then it's evolved into this new Annex SL. So they've all got the same numbering system. The overlap really comes at a point where this really, if you want, you know, I can describe it in a bunch of different ways. It describes a risk management framework or a corporate risk management process that you could follow. So it's a really great way to, you know, this is the procedure of how to go about implementing a business plan. So does your organization have a strategic plan or a business plan? And if they do, you don't need to get certified, but you can just follow this set of events or this cycle of management to have a really good, succinct way of implementing a strategic plan or a business plan. So it talks about context of organisation, leadership and worker participation, or leadership in the other standards, planning, support, operation, performance evaluation. So it's a really good, succinct way. And lastly, improvement. Sorry, I've got the yawns this morning for some reason. Talking too much. So really succinct, the overlap is basically that when you get to planning, the planning section of the standards, it's just about doing the SWOT analysis or risk-based thinking around your subject matter, whether it's quality, safety, environment, information security, food management, whatever that might be. Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's Friday. We're running out of energy. Running out of flat batteries. I'm getting flat batteries. So that's the overlap between the standards, and I think if you can, probably the biggest thing that I would be encouraging people to do now is be like elevating the conversation. So I think the biggest challenge that I've seen across the organisations we've worked with is this struggle to get the management system embedded into the organisation. And lots of people talk about the top-down approach, but what does the top-down approach actually look like? And so elevating the conversation to, hey, guess what? I just found a really cool way to implement our strategic plan, because managers senior managers and senior executives and leaders in many businesses find it quite frustrating that the business doesn't follow the plan. And so, that's speaking as a CEO and a business leader here at Best Practice. So I'd be encouraging you to say, hey, I found something really cool, and that's a really good way or good method to follow to implement the strategic plan of the business. Are you interested? And so, I've found recently that I can be more influential with asking inspiring, exciting questions, and creating a little bit of a FOMO in the people that I'm talking about. So, hey, if I was to tell you that I found something really cool, which is a fantastic way to go about implementing your strategic plan, are you interested? Then, it's only going to be a blockhead that's going to say no to that. And they're probably not someone that you want to be working with anyway. So, of course, they're going to say, oh, I'd love to know more about it. You say, okay, well, you don't name it necessarily, but you could say, hey, it just talks about, a framework for doing planning and support and operation, and we can do monitoring and measurement. There's a little bit of stuff there on leadership. What you just did was cover off, the headings of the standard. Okay, I said I'd come back to success factors. So let's read those out. Here they are, 0.3 on page 6, which is Roman numeral 6. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Okay, the success factors. This is the little bit of technical analysis I said I would do. Go and have a look at 9001 and 14001 success factors. I won't go through that today, but technical analysis on 14001. A is, so this is like the mini gap analysis, if you like. Top management, leadership, commitment, responsibilities, and accountability. What would you score yourself? Would you score yourself a 1, 2, or 3? Here at Best Practice, I would probably, on top management leadership, I would say it's a 2 or a 2.5. I know I can be better, but I'm giving it a red hot go. Commitment for me is a 3. I'm absolutely committed. However, I don't feel that I always effectively communicate that commitment. So I am committed. I am genuinely committed, but sometimes I look at my audience and they don't believe that commitment. So it's about me constantly trying to demonstrate my commitment rather than say my commitment, if that makes sense. Responsibilities and accountability. We're only a team here of 30, 35 on any given day, with another 20. So our team here is probably, if you collect the whole Best Practice family together at the moment, it's probably about 55 people. Not a huge company at all. Globally, we'd be quite small, but we do punch above our weight. Responsibilities, I think we're pretty good. Accountabilities, we could be better. So I'd give ourselves a 1 on accountability and probably a 1.5 on responsibilities. So we've got some work to do there. Top management, developing, leading, promoting a culture in the organisation that supports intended outcomes of the safety management system. Top management, developing, leading, promoting a culture. I could do a lot more promoting the culture, so I'm going to give myself a 1. Top management, developing, I could give that a 3, but the leading, I probably could be better leader, so I'm going to give myself a 2. And promoting the culture, I'll probably give myself a 1. We've got a good team, but I think I could do more. I definitely think I could do more there. Communication, we're very good at communication. I'll give ourselves a 3. We have a private secret Facebook group that everybody at Best Practice is a member of, and that's our formal. It's like our chat room, if you like, here at the business. It is a chat room. In fact, it's a private secret Facebook group. There's posters, there's there's posts, there's selfies, there's competitions, there's jokes, there's what people are up to. So that's all in there, and a lot of fun. So we're good at that. Consultation and participation of workers, where they exist, workers representatives. 100%. We're probably a 3. I give myself a 2.5 there. I think we need to do a bit more work to encourage people to speak up, because once they speak up, we catch it. Like, we've got a good system to catch it. So it's not like they're speaking up and nothing's happening. It's that maybe they could be saying a bit more. Allocation of necessary resources, we're all over that. We could do a little bit more though, so I give a 2.5. OHS policies which are compatible with the overall strategic objectives and direction of the organisation. Our policies are compatible with our strategic direction. I'll give ourselves a 3 there. Look, I'm not a big candidate and advocate for lots of documents and document control and records management and that sort of stuff. And because of that, we do find that paperwork and policies and procedures, because it's all on our intranet site, does get updated regularly and maintained, but it's not our way of communicating. So we have them because it's sort of generally accepted that policies and procedures it's good to have, but that's not the way we communicate. We communicate in our Facebook group. The reason why I was late to this YouTube live, because I was communicating with my team. I was being a CEO first and helping you guys second. So my most important thing that I do is make sure my guys are happy, guys and girls are happy. So effective processes for identifying hazards, controlling OHS risks, and taking advantage of OHS opportunities. I'll give ourselves a 2 there. We've got a bit of work that we could be doing there. Continual performance evaluation and monitoring of the safety management system to improve performance. No, I'm going to give us a 1 there. We've got work to do in that space. We're adding some more indicators to our dashboard. On my left, I'm not sure if you saw in that previous picture, but there's a big dashboard with a whole bunch of printed graphs. Maybe Jack, you could pick the camera up and just show the guys and girls that just outside, past the light. Can you see those black squares under the light there? Those are our graphs, and we print those every week, and they're our stats. So we want to do a bit more work on continual performance evaluation and monitoring of the safety management system, a bit of work there. Integration of OHS management system into our business processes is 100%, but there's always work to do there, so I'm going to say 2.5. OHS objectives that align with the OHS policies that take into account organisations' hazards, I'd say a 2.5, just a little bit more work there. More on communication and consultation with our team, and then compliance with legal requirements. I think at this stage, we're good from a compliance perspective. So look, that's what we would encourage you guys at this point in time to focus on. Those are the success factors. That's my analysis. I'm being a bit vulnerable and telling you how we operate. I've got work to do. So I think that's a good way to say, well, this is our objective. This is our why. That's the why of the standard, why the standard exists. The standard exists to help organisations improve and address and use those success factors as their guiding light. And if you can stay focused on those success factors, you're going to have an amazing safety management system. What we might do is we'll go through those success factors of, say, ISO 9001 in the next series. Are there any more questions? Shout outs to everybody that's commented on our YouTube channel in the last couple of weeks. Thank you. I hope it's helping. Great video of breaking down ISO implementation process. Could you go into more detail of how you differentiate a control from a policies, procedures, work instructions? Is the control referring to methods of measuring and monitoring? So that's Michael Brumley. That's a great question, Michael. So how do I differentiate controls from policies, procedures, and instructions? I don't. There's a thing called the hierarchy of control. Could you do me a search, please, Jack, on the hierarchy of control to see what image we can find? And I'll tell you which one looks good. So the hierarchy of control really specifies, so policies, procedures, they're a control, and they're one of the least effective ways to control an outcome. Yeah, that'll do. Let's make that as big as we can. Okay, so the hierarchy of control, Can we make that big? Is it possible? Shout out to this website. Oh, Wikipedia. Shout out to Wikipedia, hierarchy of control. So can you see the orange level there? That's administrative controls. That's your policies and procedures. So in any system, quality, safety, environment, I've been using the hierarchy of control as sort of a guiding thing. So, you know, PPE in a quality system is like verbal instructions. Admin controls in a quality system is written policies and procedures. So it's really easy for people to not read them and use them as the guidance to do things. But if you start engineering controls and substituting and eliminating risks, so when you're doing your quality system and you're doing risk-based thinking and you're thinking, you know, could we build a piece of software or have a piece of equipment that produces or does this particular step and it's always the same outcome, then that's going to be better than having a policy or procedure that you know, policies and procedures, their ultimate objective is to inspire a human to do a particular task. And the most successful policies and procedures in history are cookbooks, because people are motivated to go to a cookbook and follow the method and the ingredients to cook a meal or produce an amazing outcome. And so there's a lot of work in cookbooks because it's voluntary, right? It's like a voluntary procedure or voluntary work instruction. And so they put a lot of effort into making the cookbook good, that it's written by someone who's amazing, like a master chef, great pictures, feels good, inspires people. But a lot of things that get forgotten about cookbooks is they're often complementary to a cooking show. And so if you talk about one of the most effective ways to inspire people to cook amazing dishes and get consistent outcomes remotely, so thousands of kitchens all cooking the same dish and getting the same outcome, that it's important to acknowledge that effective, good quality communication comes with the same message in 2 or 3 different mediums. So this is the principal reason why I'm so critical of black and white policies and procedures, black and white text on white paper. It's not the most inspiring way to communicate. It's just simply not. And that's why it's been so ineffective. And that's why I'm telling people to just don't do it. Like, just stop. And so Michael Bromley's question was, you know, what's the difference? Policies and procedures and work instructions are a control. My view is use the hierarchy of control. They sit low. And if you just bring that image back up for us, Jack, they are widely acknowledged as one of the less effective ways of controlling a hazard or a risk or a process. So you want to be looking higher on that hierarchy of control. Can you drop the link to that Wikipedia article into the comments for everybody or into the description? And then you guys can go check out that hierarchy of control. But I use that every day, even in our financial system. So with our financial risks here in the business, rather than telling our finance guy to do a particular task, we try and have our system build itself. How do we ensure that we don't forget to invoice our customers for the work that we do? We automated the process. Once someone clicks that they've finished doing a job, the system automatically invoices the customer and then it doesn't get forgotten. And so that's an engineering control for a financial process. How do we make sure that we effectively communicate the same training content or the same message in a training course to our customers? We get our customers to watch a video. Every single customer gets to see the same video. So that was a cheeky little segue into our training academy. If you want more of this style of content and you want some intimate one-on-one time with our team here from Best Practice, we've got our training academy, and that training academy's got all of these great courses. So there's now a beautiful community of 4,600 people that are all doing courses in our training academy. They're all loving it. They're doing some great work. There's stuff in our training academy that's free that you can download, so you don't, you know, if you're still not quite comfortable committing your hard-earned money or your boss's hard-earned money to a training course, there's some free stuff there that we can help you with. You can always watch all the videos on our YouTube channel, and I hope that that's been great for you to help you. But the really good high-value stuff that we produce is all sitting here in our training academy. So we've found that the way to give the best learning outcome that's consistent is to use this virtual environment, which is full of videos and written documents and books to read and written content and activities and assessments, all that stuff in those great courses. The cool thing about those courses, the thing I like most, Jack's showing you the webinars there. So all of the monthly 1-hour webinars that we run. We've got a couple of topics coming up, and do you know what the next webinar is? I think we're talking about dashboards, maybe monitoring and measurement. We've got 4 great webinar topics coming up. They will be published very soon in our certified magazine. So you'll see there in the Training Academy, you can download our magazine. And in the back of the magazine, the quarterly magazine, there they are. So you can go and grab those magazines. So issue 3 will be out soon. We might try and get the image for issue 3 up there shortly so that people can start applying to get their copy as soon as it drops, but probably by the end of the month it'll be at the printers. Before it goes to the printers, we can get it online so you can download it before it goes to print. The certified magazine is absolutely fantastic, and so in order to get that consistent outcome, we found that video is a great way to do it, and so we've engineered it. We could just ask a trainer to stand in a training room and just just talk about a message, but that would be different every day because it's a human being delivering it. So it's a good way to engineer that process. Okay, so if there's no more questions, we might call it there. So I think we'll answer each of those questions there in that if we haven't already. Thanks very much for your support. So just to cover it again, if you want to connect with me directly on LinkedIn, if you haven't already, kobe@simat.com.au, and we're not going to write that down anywhere so I don't get spammed, but that's my email address if you need it for LinkedIn to send me an invite, but otherwise you can just hit the follow button and just follow me on LinkedIn, and you can send me an email, so you can send me a message and say hello. If you're enjoying the videos, let me know. Often it's silence. I'm talking to a webcam, and there's often a lot of silence. Great comments, but if you haven't posted a comment, or if you haven't asked a question, you're missing out on the opportunity to get some free advice. If you want some assistance, just please ask. And if you'd like some advice, just go ahead and send a message into Best Practice. If you want to talk more to Best Practice, there's a live chat feature on all of our websites, on the certification website, on the Education and Training Academy website, very soon to be on the Next Practice website. We'll get round to the live chat facility there for that team eventually as they build. So unless there's any further questions, have I forgotten anything, Jack? So I will do some technical analysis next Friday. We'll be live next Friday, and I'll do some technical analysis on ISO 9001 because I know a ton of people want some more help to get ready to transition if you haven't transitioned to the new version of the standard. So we might grab the whiteboard, do a quick SWOT analysis, help you guys out. So that's been it from me. Thanks very much for watching. If I've said something that you thought was really important, and while I was saying it, you thought about a friend or a colleague or a work colleague, can you tag them in this video or copy the link and send them this video and talk to them about what I suggested that you think is important for them. So if while I was saying things you were thinking about other people, today's the day to help that person. We want to help as many people on the planet as we can to build profitable, efficient, fun, exciting, sustainable and safe companies. It's what we're all about here at Best Practice. And go check out Next Practice. They've got a brand new website. We'll throw the link in the description below. Thanks for joining us, and I will see you right here on Best Practice TV.